Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear portal. I'm Atlas Opia, and I help people expand their interdimensional knowledge. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to feel comfortable when you're outside of your comfort zone. Because your passion is tethered to your ability to let go and welcome in new experiences. And when you're moving from one version of yourself into another, when you're quantum jumping from one parallel reality to another, what is required from you is trusting in your higher self, trusting that the universe is going to allow the unknown to be a place of treasure and opportunity, while your mind, which is programmed by the past, you have neurological pathways inside of your cognitive machine that are wired to react to certain stimuli in your external world, okay, based on how it previously has happened. And because your mind truly wants to fill in the blanks and be an efficient machine for you so you can focus on other things, it sometimes can be a fault when you're moving from what you knew into what is unknown. And the unknown is where you can find your true potential. The unknown, the uncomfortable feeling when you're venturing outside of yourself, is when you can create a new self that is more aligned with your soul. And so starting off, I want to talk about why the comfort zone can be restricting your ability to experience new levels of joy and power. And that is step one. The comfort zone is your mind creating an ecosystem of energetic patterns. So your mind will have a specific belief that wants to survive, because that is the motive of anything in this universe, is survival. So that part of your mind wants to survive because your mind as an entity, when we're considering the third dimensional matrix we're placed in, is a functionality that allows your soul to acclimate to a sense of normality according to Earth itself. So the idea of normality is a consistent wave of experience, right? For a certain duration of time. Because if you always were consistently in different types of thoughts, and you were always pivoting from one perception to another, you wouldn't be able to actually move through different actions that can get you to a progressive way of living so you can achieve your goals. But the ecosystem of the mind is not created based on right or wrong, or empowering or disempowering. It is created based off of a response of the different experiences that have occurred throughout your primitive years of this reincarnation. And so as you're growing up, your subconscious mind is bringing in information, and it's coding this internal belief system and this ecosystem in your subconscious mind. And that creates a comfort zone, because then you feel a sense of familiarity. But the comfort zone is programmed for you to feel a sense of comfort because you know what to expect. You know that there is nothing to stay on guard with, because a part of our human species is still replaying DNA from our primitive years as cavemen and cavewomen, where our true point of attention was survival. So the mind is going to do what it has to prevent you from always having to check in with it so you can focus on your physical survival. But right now we're moving into emotional survival, right? And then as we go into an awakening or ascension, we're moving into emotional thriving, because we're pivoting beyond, I'm attached to this ecosystem in my subconscious mind, which is replaying the past, and I am attached to my emotions and my identity, to my subconscious mind. Emotions and identity are tools that I can use to express the creative powers of my soul and give myself permission to create whatever I would like in this reincarnation, and see it as a game and not a jail. Okay? So the comfort zone itself can be harmful because it prevents you from having an elastic way of being. It prevents you from accessing the element of water, which is to be flexible, to go where the motion is taking you, and to be able to transmutate yourself into anything. That is why water is so powerful. But when you're in your comfort zone, you're less flexible, and so you'll tend to explore an encapsulated part of this universe, and you'll tend to cycle around the same conditions of consciousness. And when you let go of the idea of the comfort zone, and you understand that it is created based off of a fear mechanism to keep you safe, and in reality it's not about being safe in your body, but being safe in the knowing that your interdimensional self, which is your soul, can handle anything that occurs in this reincarnation, because you're getting to have the reincarnation as if you're an actor playing a role in the new movie. Whatever happens in the movie doesn't necessarily destroy or alter the actor itself. It can affect the actor, right? So your soul will be affected by your reincarnations, but it is not attached to your reincarnations. So once you realize that, the fear of survival and wanting to make everything perfect, and the fear of people seeing you in a light that is imperfect, goes away, because you accept that you're here to play, experience, and fall and get up, play in the mud, and really experience that inner child that you're trying to regain by moving into expanding your spiritual awareness of yourself. Okay? Now, step 2 is, once you realize that the comfort zone is limiting your ability to expand into different realms of awareness and consciousness, and truly experience the vast potential of what is here for you on earth, if you just allow yourself to be scared of the unknown, is moving into a place where you embrace the fear. Right? Embracing the fear does not mean that you're going to consistently want to create fear subconsciously by creating a positive relationship to it, right? We have this idea as we move through different philosophical understandings of how to manifest. You know, one could be the law of attraction, that whatever we consistently think about is what we create. And although that is true, you have to consider the inner workings of the subconscious mind. And depending on how you handle the components of your subconscious mind, which is your fears and doubts and parts of your shadow, that will actually create a reflection into the predominant thoughts you're having, because most of your thoughts are subconscious. I think it's like 75 to 80%. So embracing the fear means moving beyond right or wrong, shadow and light, and looking at yourself and seeing value in every aspect of who you are, seeing value in every unique form of consciousness, seeing an emotion as a beautiful animal in the wild. Okay, you just have to know how to handle yourself around the animal. in order to appreciate the animal without it causing you harm. Same with emotions. You have to know how to handle the emotion so you can appreciate that this frequency does not happen in any other emotion. When you're feeling fear, your body is in this fight or flight state. You could be thinking of, how can I take this situation and make it increase my self-confidence? How can I subconsciously make myself feel more whole by having this experience? And that happens by really relying on the external world for our happiness. It comes from feeling a sense of shadow in our internal world and following along with the human pattern of behavior, which is avoiding pain and chasing pleasure. So we pivot from our internal world and we look in our external world for something to make us feel better. Because on some level, maybe we feel like we should be punished for having these disempowering emotions, depending on how you grew up or what you were surrounded by, or maybe you have had disempowering experiences and you kind of are mad at yourself on a level that you even had to experience that. So really it's understanding, how can you find a level of peace in your internal world when there is chaos? How can you sit with the fear? And really, sitting with the fear is simply seeing the fear as an indication at times that you are growing. Now, I don't mean every time you have fear, look at it as a sense of growth, because there are times where fear is there to give you a sense of discernment, to protect your physical body that your soul is getting to inhabit at the moment, to really keep you away from certain energies. But if you feel as if you're growing and the experiences that are coming up are making you uncomfortable, it is simply because your mind is outside of its comfort zone, which is good, because the comfort zone is connected to the old version of you, the past patterns of energy. The new version, your mind hasn't fully experienced yet, meaning it hasn't been able to create consistent neurological patterns around these new stimulations in the environment. And your body hasn't processed any emotion from experiencing these new ways of life. So approach fear from that way. And step 3 is feeling as if when you're outside of your comfort zone, when you're feeling unsafe because the tides are different than you're used to, and you may not be able to control the direction, and you feel as if you can't control something, then it might lead to you feeling that something bad will happen, because maybe you thought that the experiences that occurred in your past, which were disempowering, happened because you could have done something different. You could have controlled an aspect of yourself or the environment to avoid that situation. Okay? So it's letting go of control and trusting in your higher self, this portal of universal consciousness, so you can truly realize that your sense of happiness is not going to come from achieving one thing in the external world, but feeling as if being outside of your comfort zone is exciting, because then you're not limiting yourself, because then your subconscious mind and your fears are not running amok and leading your possibility of growth. What's leading your possibility of growth is you deciding to let go of needing to know how something is going to happen, and you allow your mind to take a back seat as your higher self goes in the driver's seat. So when you're outside of your comfort zone, the best thing you can do is realize in that moment, okay, this is an opportunity for me to feel an excitement from something that hasn't happened yet. To have a new experience, just as you go for when you watch a new movie, or you go on a new hike, or you travel, or you play a new video game, or you create a new piece of art, or you find a new supplement. The reason why those experiences are more welcomed than the ones that happen when we're outside of our comfort zone is we are not in possible harm when we're going to get a new experience, because we believe that this new feeling of excitement is going to take us forward. When we're internally outside of our comfort zone, we feel attached, right, to our mind and our emotions, because in that instance we are truly not remembering that, hey, I'm actually my soul, and I get to play and experience this simulation. I get to have a moment in this new world, which is Earth. And it's not to be taken that seriously. And when you can create a layer of protective energy between your soul and your mind and your emotions and your fears and all these things, you can stay in the position of your soul and pivot from there. Okay? Now, step 4 in how to thrive outside of the comfort zone is you use the ego to work for you. Now, this is usually a controversial topic, because as people are expanding spiritually, the first step is going beyond the ego, beyond the body, beyond the matrix, so you can remember your true form and then have more power when you're back on Earth, right? And step 2 is becoming the entire universe, realizing that whatever you are observing is part of you, right? And that whenever you're able to shift your consciousness into different perspectives, you're actually going beyond the limited self and going into the unlimited observer of the soul itself, and you're getting to feel into the entire universe. But step 3 is deciding how you would like to then experience Earth. What story would you like to play out as a part of a choice rather than reacting to different types of energy? So feeling into that is knowing that if you have a part of you that is wanting to experience a sense of validation, there's a part of our human selves that wants to feel like we are making a difference, like we are growing, like our purpose on this planet is of value. And the only time it is not of value is when we're not living in our natural vibration and we're living based off of society instead of our own imagination. It's when we're constricting our desires and feel as if we're in a stuck place in life or a stuck perspective, right? And what you can do is you can tell yourself, you can tell your ego, the minute you're outside of your comfort zone, and you are the soul in this moment, and you're talking to your identity, you're talking to your ego, you're talking to the mechanism that's allowing your soul to appear in this third dimensional hologram. And you say, watch how I take this and turn it into something greater. Watch how I take this feeling of unsafety and create the opportunity to feel more safe by feeling as if even when I'm operating outside of my comfort zone, there is a moment of tranquility in me knowing that I'm not these nerves, that I'm not this anger, that I'm not this fear, and that I am not this pressure. And you can observe your body and go, wow, this person really wants to have a good time on earth. Bless this person. And so you almost tell your identity, okay, this feeling of uncomfortability, being outside of my comfort zone, is going to vastly expand who I can be. Being outside of my comfort zone is where I'm going to dance in the fire. I'm going to glide on top of the cloud. I'm going to take that feeling of nervous energy and I'm going to use it to elevate me beyond my body so I can feel into my intuition and creativity and allow this feeling of unknown to be a birth of something new. It's you sitting in front of a door of opportunity, okay? Now, I appreciate you guys tuning in to this video. I hope it helped. I make videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Definitely subscribe if you're wanting to bring the interdimensional awareness of your soul into this body. And you're not only wanting to understand higher dimensional wisdom, but you're wanting to know how can you apply it to your everyday life? How can you live in this reincarnation from the cumulative passion and purpose that you have had throughout different reincarnations in this universe, because everything is connected. And then when you realize that, it becomes the opportunity to expand your field and take the moment to learn new technology so you can interact with the reincarnations you've had differently. You may have had a reincarnation as a star seed, a God seed, an angelic seed. And if that's true, the power comes from taking the purpose you had in that reincarnation and merging it into this one, and then teaching your brain how to encapsulate new truths so you can interact with the quantum field differently, heal it, help it, expand it in whatever ways you have to. And if you're really wanting to push that potential, consider my galactic quantum coaching. It's a real journey of expansion, just because I had to go through it myself before I could teach it. And it really is so sacred that it can bring tears to my eyes, because I realize that when you're okay with being uncomfortable, you really get to be free. All right? I'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully you have a good day. And yeah, stay in joy and simplicity, and always feel grateful for where you've come from and where you're going. And the uncomfortability is just a sign of something new is coming.